I can think is I have pigs and blankets downstairs. Hello, YouTube. Hi. This is Chelsea. She's back from university today. I know we're in short. I feel like we're not. Well, you didn't come back today. You came back
I came back to you today.
She came back to me today. I've missed her. Oh. Okay. Today, because I'm lazy, didn't want to do my own YouTube video. We're gonna do a collab YouTube video. I got my Medusa pierced.
Oh God.
And you can all have a video of me getting it pierced, like now.
Shuffle a little bit forward from it, you can see more perched.
Yeah. Oh no.
You're fine.
I'm really scared.
You'll be fine, honestly. I'm watching what Laura's doing.
Chin up. Sorry, each other. Go and have a check in the room, make sure you're happy with where it is.
Yeah.
Mr. B.
That's active. Chin up, checking.
I know you can't really sing with that one.
Let me. That's perfect. Deep breath and get the fat done. Well done, fabulous, fantastic, brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to pop the clamp off. Well done. I'm going to put the jewellery in.
Oh.
You're doing amazing, sweetheart.
It's nearly done.
Okay, jewellery in, bit of a push. Well done. You're just screwing the ball on. Well done.
You have a sparkly moustache.
Oh man, it feels all weird.
Well, it's something new.
It suits you, I like it.
It's like trying to do that all the time.
It does feel a bit strange, I must admit. Because mine's only just starting to bed in now, mine's not been done that long. But eventually it's alright, gets better.
Have a good rinse again.
Oh man. Top 10 weird stories about famous people in history.
Yeah.
So no Kim Kardashian shit for you guys. No.
You get the real deal.
The real deal. Okay, Charles Dickens. Yeah. Dickens. Charles Dickens was probably one of the most famous writers of the Victorian era.
We have to find out the
Dickensian,
funny
that's
bit.
well cool.
Dickensian.
Oh, his own story most certainly did not start happily. Dickens's early life was spent mostly in debtor's prison because his poor dad couldn't pay off his debt. The whole family had to join him in the slammer. That's horrible. Charles Dickens grew up in prison. That's weird.
Apparently that was a typical practice in Victorian
A
England.
typical practice in Victorian England. Bloody hell.
In 1901, I think this is where it starts, Einstein and his first girlfriend Mileva Maric were on holiday in Italy. It ended when Mileva found herself with child and Einstein found himself with no money to support her and the baby. The child was born in 1902 and disappeared from Einstein's letters to Mileva about 1903. It's unknown what happened to the child, but she probably died of scarlet fever. That's really creepy.
It's like the child just kind of disappears one day.
Off the face of the earth.
Oh no, I don't like that. Robert Louis Stevenson. What you probably don't know about him is he wrote the novel while on cocaine. Gave it to his wife to review. After his wife stated that the book was an allegory and that he should write it as such, Stevenson burned it so he could force himself to write it according to his wife's feedback. I almost read that as according to his wife's Facebook. I was like, according to his wife's Facebook, does that even make sense?
Oh, that's so cool.
Speaking of his wife, Fanny Osborne met Robert Louis Stevenson when she was in Paris. They fell in love and she became his muse. He had to return home, so Stevenson saved up for 3 years to see her again so they could be together. That is one determined man. Abraham Lincoln.
Here we go. Though he wasn't actually born in a log cabin, apparently that's a myth. I don't even know that was a thing, but okay. He did have a relatively hard childhood. Hard labour was part of his daily regime. In the frontier where Lincoln grew up, wow. And at the age of 9 he lost his mother to milk sickness. The president, he would grow to be history's tallest president of the United States, standing proudly at 6'4". That's like 1 inch taller than my boyfriend.
Wow, that's really tall. Even after he died, his story didn't quite end. In 1876, a group of fitters, thank you, wanted to hold Lincoln's body for ransom at the hefty fee of Is that 200,000?
Yes, it is.
200,000 in gold on the release of one of their accomplices. They were caught and sentenced to a year, only a year in jail. King George III, who was the King of England during the war, right? So he was nuttier than a squirrel. Oh my god. He's thought to have begun to lose his marbles due to arsenic poisoning, since arsenic was spread around like fairy dust to everything back in the early 19th century. Eventually confined to a straitjacket within his own palace, he died in 1820, blind and insane. Wow. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Well, Napoleon wasn't actually short. Wow. Napoleon was 5'7", which was normal for the average French.
Taller than me.
I know, it's taller than me. His childhood was a pitiful one. His father died of stomach cancer and left his family penniless due to his gambling.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
That's really shit. He was often made fun of in school for his studiousness and thick Corsican accent. I don't know what that is. Nobody could have predicted Napoleon's rise to power. Napoleon suffered from hemorrhoids, and it's rumoured that his pain and illness prevented him from winning the Battle of Waterloo. Because of his bubbly butt.
Because of his bubbly butt, he didn't win the Battle of Waterloo. Theodore Roosevelt. He was sickly, asthmatic, and a very hyper child. Isn't that just every child ever? He took up boxing. This is boring. His best story, perhaps, concerns a speech in Milwaukee. I love that word, Milwaukee. In 1912. During the speech, an assassin tried to kill Roosevelt with a gun, but the bullet was slowed down by his folded speech and eyeglass case. Roosevelt promptly told the crowd he'd just been shot, continued giving his speech, and then headed over to the hospital to get it removed.
It'll be me with my head wound.
Oh, story time. This happens every YouTube video. I go off on a tangent and tell a story. Not the bonfire night just gone, the bonfire night before that. Yeah, a year ago. Me, Chelsea here, my ex-boyfriend Adam, and our friend Chris Parrott decided to go to Whitton Park, but we didn't want to pay to get into Whitton Park, because me and Adam had money, but her and Parry didn't. So, Whitton Park's a really big wood.
Yeah, it's got like loads of...
So we decided to try and sneak in. We got really close, right? We got through the forest and like over the fields and everything. And then Adam thought we were being chased. We weren't, but he thought we were. So we turned around, bolted it up some stairs. Three of us make it up fine. Chelsea, clumsy as she is, trips on a step, falls into the step, and then her glasses were literally implanted into her face.
Yeah,
That
half
was
of my
lovely.
glasses were stuck there and I couldn't find the other half.
It was horrible. We had to take her up to hospital. We got in for free. We went down and we were like, our friends falling over.
We didn't get to see the fireworks.
No, we didn't get to see the fireworks or the
I was
bonfire or
laughing
anything.
for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
That
she
was
was
fun.
laughing just because like out of shock, and I was like, can't do this. Number 3, Peter the Great.
Who is this
How many
guy?
have we done? Is it? Oh, it's a countdown.
Charlie Chaplin! Oh, we can get
Have
Charlie
we done
Chaplin.
that many? Peter the Great.
Peter the Great was the Tsar of Russia in the 18th century. Seeing how backwards Russia was, he decided to tour Western Europe in order to find ways to modernise his country. Peter took the guise of an average merchant to avoid being discovered and came back to Russia with many ways to improve the empire.
Ordered all Russian men to shave their beards or pay a tax. We said that right. Russians grew such poor beards that they had to pay to keep them. My little sister just opened the door, looked at us in fear, and then closed it again. He also had a museum of oddities. He also had a museum of oddities. Shut up! He also, for the 5th time, had a museum of oddities ranging from deformed animal fetuses to animal parts to dispel superstition. Now that's scientific curiosity. Number 2 is Charlie Chaplin. I've only just started counting down this.
Alright, Charlie Chaplin's mother eventually died of liver issues after becoming psychotic due to syphilis and malnutrition. You know you could be psychotic because of syphilis.
Probably because his father left. Probably left her with syphilis, and that kind of drove her insane.
Chaplin was once forced to pay child support for a child that wasn't even... That sounds like Blackburn, doesn't it?
That is totally the town we live in.
When a young woman claimed that her child was Chaplin's, blood testing determined that the child was not Chaplin's, but the judge refused to have the test admitted into court, so he made Chaplin pay. Even after death, in 1977, Chaplin's body was stolen for that, but it was recovered about 2 months later.
What is it with people stealing dead
But
people's
what the hell
bodies
is
for
that? I
ransom?
don't understand what that is.
Number 1, Sir Richard Francis Burton. I almost read that as Sir Richard Francis Bottom. Spy, explorer, soldier. So many words to describe Sir Richard Burton. I almost said Bottom again. But his stories were perhaps the most amazing. In 1853, Burton convinced the Royal Geographic Society to give him a leave of absence from the army to travel up Mecca and disguise himself as a Muslim, even getting circumcised to keep up the illusion to make it there. While exploring in Africa, he was impaled in a fray with a group of Somali warriors, yet escaped alive. This guy is impressive. He spoke over 30 different languages. It seems likely Sir Richard took plenty of tales to the grave.
Wow. I would have wanted to know him.
That is actually amazing.
That is great. We can only make one video out of that. Make one video out of that. We can't like...
Oh my god. 10 weirdest addictions.
Alright, okay. We can edit that into one video and this can be another video, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and this can be another video.
Yeah. Which means I've got like next, right?
So we need to do another introduction.
Okay, so we'll stop this one. We need to say goodbye. Yeah, but we need to say goodbye. We stop this so I can like separate them into different weeks easier. So all the people why your dissertation really hurts. Chelsea's back from university. Yeah, but we watch American Horror Story tonight.
Yeah.
And eat our way in popcorn. That should be fun.
It will be.
I probably won't see you guys until after New Year's, which means the next video is going to have Chelsea in it, because we're going to record it now. Weirdest things. We can't let this pass up, but I don't want this YouTube video to be too long, so that's fine. But it might also be the New Year's party I'm going to.
Oh god.
No nudity will be included. But there will be beer pong. Bye guys.